Good morning, everyone, and welcome, faculty of science students. I'd like to thank you for joining us today on a Saturday, and maybe for some of you this is quite early, maybe for others it's quite late. I hope everyone is doing really well. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Nancy Chibry, and I'm the Associate Dean for Undergraduate Programs and Student Affairs in the Faculty of Science. And today I'll be your MC for this event, where you will have the opportunity to learn about the Undergraduate Science Center and engage with 5 of our current students to ask them questions and learn about their experiences. But before we begin, I would like to do a land acknowledgement. The University of Calgary, located in the heart of Southern Alberta, both acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai First Nations, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda, including Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Goodstoney First Nations. And the city of Calgary is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. And I think it's important that we each take time to acknowledge, if you're zooming in from different parts of Canada or the world, that we recognize where we're living and appreciate everything that we have. So, I also want to clarify a few things just before we begin. So in this session, we won't be answering questions about admission, anything that's program specific or student advising questions today. However, if you do need assistance with program questions or with registering for all your fall classes, the Undergraduate Science Center, also known as the USC, they'll be offering a registration workshop on May 15th at 5 p.m. Our next presenter will provide more information about the workshop and how you can contact our student advisors. Well, are you ready to go? Let's get started. So our first presenter of the day is Elise Buzzell. Elise is the program coordinator and student advising team lead for the Undergraduate Science Center, and she'll be presenting on the program opportunities and also the student supports available to science students. So please join me in welcoming Elise.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here as a representative from the Undergraduate Science Center, or as you'll come to know it, the USC. So I just wanted to get started by giving an overview of our office, because we will be a central touch point for you throughout your degree. So the USC is home to a few different groups. My group is the advising, so those are the people that you'll chat with quite regularly. We also have an internship team that helps students work while they're going to school. We have an engagement team that does a lot of really fun activities, and that also has a lot of really cool programs for mentorship and engagement. And then we have an administrative team that you probably won't ever speak with, but they do all the little behind the scenes things and are a very important part of the puzzle. To go into advising a little bit more, I just want to cover kind of what advising is. So you may have experience with a guidance counselor from your high school. Program advising is on similar lines, but a little bit different. So my team of 6 support you throughout your entire degree, all the way from when you've been admitted, you're selecting courses, up until graduation. If you're looking to change your program, if you're maybe not in the thing you thought you wanted to do, or you got into your second choice, we support you through that. We are the ones who will review your academics every year and make sure you're on track, and then pretty much everything in between. We're also an amazing resource if you don't know where to go. The university can be a really big place, and there's a lot of different people to support you. So if you ever don't know who to reach out to, then we're a good place to start. Like Nancy mentioned, we do help with course selection and with getting your degree requirements. So we will be hosting a registration workshop. Now, we won't cover those things or those questions today, but you may be having questions about registering, what courses do you pick, those sorts of things. So I just want to pause on this slide for a moment. There's a QR code you can scan that goes to the registration. From 5 to 6 on May 15th, we'll be going through all of those questions, a short presentation, and then a ton of time for you to connect with an advisor directly. I will note that this workshop will be recorded and all of the resources will be sent out after. So let's say this time is 2 in the morning for you. That's okay. You can definitely still register, and then I'll follow up with an email, and then we can book a one-on-one appointment too if you have further questions. So that's a little bit about the USC and how you'll get registration help in your first year. The next piece that I want to chat about is a really exciting opportunity that you can go through in your degree and also part of the USC team. So we have a science internship program and team as part of the Faculty of Science. Now, what is an internship? It is essentially the option to work while you're in your degree. It usually falls between the 3rd and 4th years of your program because that is when you'll have enough knowledge to kind of apply your studies, but still enough time left that you can go and inform your studies further. So let's say you had your heart set on a certain industry, but it just wasn't quite what you thought it would be. You can use that last year to pivot. There's some really awesome advantages, particularly for, let's say, like international students where you maintain your full-time student status, or for a student like myself who is on student loans, you remain a student while on the program. You get a designation on your transcript and degree. You get to start your professional life, build that network, and get some awesome opportunities to develop your skills further than the academic piece. So you don't need to do anything with it now, but just have that in the back of your mind that when you're thinking about maybe doing an internship, the USD is some place that can support you within science. The last office that we'll touch on today is the engagement office. So like I said, they run a lot of different cool programs. One of them that I wanted to highlight today as your new incoming students is the Science Mentorship Program. So this is a program where you can connect one-on-one with a mentor who will be an upper year student in order to get information and support in kind of starting your academic journey. It can be like a school thing, it can be a personal benefit, and it can also be like a professional connection. So what this looks like is usually about one meeting a month. So a total of about 10 hours per year in which you can connect with a mentor, and you just get some really awesome opportunity to participate in fun science activities and events and get that one-on-one connection with an upper year student you may not otherwise have gotten. And I think that is all for me today. I just want to leave you with our contact information. So where can you find us when you're on campus? We are in the Science Building, so Science B149, and the internship down in Science Theaters. But you can always connect with us via email. That's usually a good place to start, or you can give us a call as well. Thanks so much, and I will pass it on to the next person.
All right. Thank you so much, Elise. Hopefully you found this information invaluable. So please do not be afraid to reach out to the USC if you have any questions. They will help guide you to the right office if they don't have the answer for you, but they know others do. We've also helped to guide students to the bathroom in some cases when they've dropped by the USC office. So we're always willing to help. So next, we have a surprise guest who would like to steal your attention for a moment before we get started with our panel discussion. So Rex, who is our UCalgary mascot, has a fun contest, and he would like to share this with you today.
I'm Rex, the UCalgary mascot and #1 Dinos fan. This incoming class is looking dynamite. Cheering for dinos is my thing. Without you guys, I'd be a Tyrannosaurus wreck. Jurassic times call for Jurassic measures, so I've got a roarsome challenge just for you. Keep an eye on your inbox. I'll post details shortly. This challenge will be online, not in the field, so you won't have to worry about getting dinosaur. Complete my challenge, and you'll enter to win the U at UCalgary Rex's Challenge Award, valued between $1,000 and $2,500 Canadian dollars. Be sure to watch your email for more instructions after the event. Go Dinos!
Oh, thanks, Rex. So please remember to check your email later today for more instructions and for your chance to win Rex's challenge. I should turn on my video. Oops, sorry about that. So let's get started with our student panel. This is probably the best part because you're hearing from current students about their experience as a science student. So feel free to ask them questions. They're excited to talk to you about life as a science student. As I said, so they want to talk about how they got involved with the student community or how they made friends during their first year, what resources on campus they find helpful, or maybe what types of research they've been involved with. So if you have any questions, if you want to put them into the chat and we'll try to monitor it, and then we'll try to address it with the students. So we're opening the chat now. So as I said, please feel free to send your questions about student life. And now welcome our student panelists. I don't want to go too much into detail about each of them because they're going to introduce themselves and tell us more about their life as a U of C student. So first we have Lauren Anderson. Then we have Ayman Mohammed. We have Nicholas Rochette joining us today, Sarah Newman, and Rebecca Urbano de Silva joining us. So I'll let Lauren take it away first.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Lauren. I'm a fourth year undergrad here at the University of Calgary, and I'm majoring in computer science and also linguistics. So I'm split between the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts. And I'm also president of the Women in Computer Science Club. Nice to see you all.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayman. I'm a fourth year CMMB major here at the University of Calgary. And I've also worked with the Science Ambassadors team here, and I'm also the vice president for the Data Science and Machine Learning Club.
Hey guys, my name is Nicholas Rochette. I'm a fifth year majoring in physics, astrophysics, and math. And I'm also a member and ex-executive of the Physics and Astronomy Students Association.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Newman. I'm finishing up my third year of the environmental science program in the geography concentration, and I'm also the president of the Environmental Science Students Association.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Urbano. I'm in my second year. I'm doing natural sciences with a concentration in mathematics and the other one in biology. I'm part of the Science Ambassadors in the experiential learning team.
Oh, thank you, everyone. So I just want to give everyone, just the students that have joined us today, a friendly reminder that, again, our panelists, they won't be answering any admission, program-specific, or student advising questions today. Again, if you need assistance with program questions or with registering for fall classes, as mentioned earlier, the Undergraduate Science Center will be offering a registration workshop on May 15th at 5 p.m. So let's open up some questions. Do we have? So our first one, I see that, how do you join clubs? So maybe a few of you can address that. Maybe we'll start off with Lauren or Mohammed.
Yeah, I guess I'll start this one off. So this is really interesting because on campus we have over 300 student union clubs, and there's clubs that are also non-student union related as well. So there's pretty much going to be a club that you're interested in regardless. And if there isn't one, you're more than welcome to start one. So usually the best way to find clubs is during clubs week. All these clubs will set up booths. All you have to do is talk to any of the people that are present at the clubs and ask them how to join. Usually it's as simple as just giving them your email, and that's it. You're in the club.
Thank you. Someone made a comment, you don't join any clubs, you only say, that's not good. That's not a good life balance. And then you'll see the students shake their head. You have to have fun while you're here. That's how you connect. And I know for myself, I made lifelong friendships. I'm still friends with the people that I met in clubs and through various activities in my undergrad. The next question is, what sorts of supports are there academically for students of the Faculty of Science?
Sure, I'll take a stab at this one. So USC is obviously a really big one that's been talked about previously. They'll help with course advising and all sorts of stuff throughout your degree. Also, clubs are also another big one. Student associations generally for your degree are going to be pretty good resources to have available to you, and just being able to kind of meet people in your degree and interact with those people and ask questions and so on and so forth. Likewise, during classes, professors will typically host office hours where you can go and ask them questions. You can also talk to TAs and all sorts of people if you have questions or concerns or what have you, depending on your particular issue.
I should add too, we also have the Student Success Center. We have other many resources on campus, wellness as well. They offer workshops in terms of time management. They offer workshops on study skills, all kinds of things. So please check it out. So our next question is, how many clubs should someone join?
I can have a go at this one. It really depends on, your personal capacity, but I recommend going to as many club events as you think are interesting and exciting to you. I'm currently only on the executive team for one club because it can get to be a time commitment depending on the club. But I love being on the executive team, and I love going to a whole bunch of other clubs events so I can do fun things and meet other students, and yeah.
Thank you. So another question that's come up is from Michaela. How much free time would you advise scheduling between each of your classes? Time for things like studying, working on homework. Yeah, and then there's some questions about the program specific, but we won't answer that. So maybe you want to discuss about your scheduling, how that works for you?
Okay, so I can talk about it. So actually, it all depends on the time of your class. So for example, if you have classes in the afternoon, it is good to have some time to have lunch. I would recommend, don't try to put classes 11 and 12. Because you won't have time to eat, and eating at 10:30 is too bad. And it all depends on what time of the day you prefer to study. So if you have I don't know, an hour between classes, it is a good time to study in the library. It's what I usually do. And since I prefer to study at the afternoon, I usually put my classes in the morning.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, it all depends. As you said, if you're a morning person, afternoon person, it's really good to make sure that you do build, if you can, build in gaps so that you can form study groups to stay on campus. For me, it was study groups that helped me through my undergrad and grad. So I'm very grateful for that. Another question, what are the typical class hours every day, and how many days do I need to attend classes? Well, I'll answer this first. You should attend classes. You should attend all the classes. And if you're unfortunately, you probably have to run 5 days a week unless you reduce your course load. You may be able to get away with just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday. But in your first year, there's going to be labs, which generally run on the opposite days. But I'll let the students comment more on that one from their own experience.
So I would like to say one thing. Be careful of putting many classes that have labs. So they can be quite overwhelming, since most classes that has labs, you need to do assignments every week or bi-weekly. So try 2 classes with labs is already too much. So don't try to put 3 because you'll get definitely overwhelmed.
Our next question is, how diverse is the student body, especially students of color in the sciences? Well, if you look at our panelists, I think they're a very good representation of our student population. So we have a very diverse student population. Another question, is there any web page of yours that lists these workshops? So I believe Elise put in the chat further up, great support from the Student Success Center. You can connect with our Student Success Center. They have tons of these workshops that I've discussed. Also wellness, student wellness has them. Should I take 8 a.m. classes? I think we might have answered that one.
Yeah. I'll just comment on this really quick. Again, it really depends. If you're a morning person or not, how close you live to the university, your amount of travel. So, for example, I am very much not a morning person at all. 8 a.m. classes are hard for me, so I tend to avoid them like the plague. That being said, if you're a morning person and you can just get up in the morning and just think, that's great. Go for it. If you're like me, though, I would recommend maybe staying away from that.
Thanks, Nicholas. Another question: do you know when Club Week is happening? Do any of you know when that's taking place?
Go for it, Lauren.
To address that at least. It usually takes place about the third week of classes in the fall semester and then again in the winter semester. And it just happens in Mac Hall, which is the big building with the food court and everything there. It's a really great time. Definitely check it out. And it won't be like the first week of classes, so you shouldn't miss it.
Awesome. So the question is about another question here from Ember. Are there any socialization opportunities outside of clubs for international students that may not be accustomed to Canadian culture? Do you have anyone that would be able to answer that? If not, it's okay, because we have our international students services, and they hold events throughout the year. And if you're an international student, you should stay connected with that office, because they can also, if you run into any problems, they're there to support you, and they are extremely knowledgeable. The next one: can I join other clubs' activities if I am not in that club?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Definitely. You can go in and join as many club activities as you like. A lot of clubs do events throughout the year, throughout different times of the day as well. So if you want to sit on multiple club activities in a day, you're more than welcome to do that. And no club is going to turn you down for it. So definitely.
And to follow up to that, what hours do clubs generally run? The student has their schedule planned out, but realize the hours are a bit all over the place.
Yeah, so just to add on to that, clubs usually have events that are held throughout the semester, and they'll announce those events like plenty in advance. So they'll be like, hey, we're having a networking night at 5 p.m. on the 24th of something. So you'll have plenty of notice that an event is happening, so you can definitely plan around that. But there isn't specific hours that most clubs run.
Thank you. Another one is, for science-related internship, are there specific positions in certain fields, or would they be more of a general research focus? I can take that one. It's wide open, and I'll get one of the students to comment too. As long as the job benefits you in some way, you can do it. So, for instance, we have someone who is a computer scientist, and their internship is in the Undergraduate Science Center. We have students that are working in a variety of areas, which is not their main focus, but what they're getting out of that job is networking, professional skills, developing their professional skills, and so on. So I'll pass it over to our students to also comment on that.
I guess I can take a crack at this one again. I did an internship out in BC for a startup that was doing some amazing research in the field of therapeutics. So I think there's specific positions in fields that are related to your major, but like Nancy mentioned, you don't have to take those positions. You're more than welcome to take any position that contributes to your professional development. So again, it really depends on what kind of positions are available out there, but I think it's an amazing experience to add to your degree regardless.
Yeah, thank you. All right, here's a good question too. What is the best place to study? They want to hear all of your opinions. So I'll let all of you chime in on this one.
Okay, so I usually study at the Hunter Common Rooms. It is basically a building next to the McKinney Tower. They have like several tables. Like you can go there to like talk with friends. You can go there to study. That is what I usually do. They are quite like calm, so there aren't like many students there. So you still have like some silence to work on your stuff. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. For me, as Nancy mentioned earlier about study groups, I heavily utilize study groups. I study with different people all the time. Particularly, I study in like the club I'm a part of, PASA, or the Physics Astronomy Students Association. Likewise, if you're a physics major, you will also get access to the physics study room, which is also a really good resource for you to kind of meet people and also utilize for studying. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Earth Science building. Right now, I'm up in the Environmental Science Students Association club room up on the 9th floor of that building. So I'm in here a lot of the time. But the second floor of this building is also beautiful. There's a lot of natural light, there's plants, there's big tables, so you can study with other people. But yes, definitely I recommend visiting your student association and joining that club, because they often have a study space with a table. We've got a couch in here. It's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the student association one. Another building that I'd recommend is the Taylor Institute for Teaching and Learning. It's pretty close to engineering, but it's isolated, so it's not usually too busy. You have to like actually go outside to get to it. And it has tons of natural light and these big stairs you can sit on. And it even has some desks that are sort of like suspended in the air. It's a really cool building. You should check it out.
Yeah, and then for me, so I have like studying when I'm studying with my friends, and that'll be the Hunter's Commons. So we're chatting and doing a little bit of studying. But then during exam season and crunch time where I actually need to study, I'm definitely going to go up to the 5th floor in TFDL. It's a completely quiet area. So there's like a really silent work environment too. And everyone's being really studious there. So it kind of just gets you motivated to study as well.
Thanks for all those tips. Another question that came up is, what's the environment like on campus? And then the follow-up is, what is Bermuda BSD, which is Bermuda Shorts Day? What's the vibe like? So the two questions, the general environment, and then the day, the Bermuda Shorts Day. If you can comment on those.
I think that campus is a pretty big place, so it's hard to say what the environment is for like the entire campus. I think it sort of is what you make it, because like some of the time the University of Calgary can be a little bit of a commuter school. A lot of people sort of come for classes and then don't stick around for too many social events. But once you find a group of people that are there for the social life and for, yeah, getting to know each other, all that sort of stuff, you can definitely find little groups of people that suit the environment you're looking for, because it is such a big place. For BSD, I can't really comment on that because I have not participated before, but I've heard the vibe is good.
Does anyone else want to chime in?
Yeah, I don't know if this is like the group of students to ask about BSD, a bunch of nerds, but definitely, I love being on campus. I've like found my little spaces that I really love. Everyone in the environmental science program and in the geography department is lovely. And so, you know, I stick around the earth science building because everyone's amazing here.
Awesome. So another question came up about university labs. So they asked what is involved in university labs. So maybe you can just break it down to your first year and then what happens as you progress in your degree in terms of the lab experience.
Okay, so in terms of labs, so during first year, they're not exactly like really demanding. So usually they are like bi-weekly. So you go there, you do your experiment, then you go home and you do like some type of activity or during labs or after. However, when you progress in your program, they become more demanding, definitely. So for example, I'm doing organic chemistry right now. So I have labs every week, 3-hour labs. I have to prepare an introduction to the lab before I go to the lab, kind of like summarizing what I will be doing. Then I have a report, so I need to write the report. So an introduction, then discussion, then conclusion. So as you progress in your program, you definitely need to become more organized, because otherwise you'll become overwhelmed.
Does anyone else want to chime in on that one? Add any more comments?
Yeah, definitely. I'll speak to some of the upper year labs. So by the time you get to third and fourth year, it gets really fun because you're picking some more niche courses that you're really interested in as part of your degree. So while labs in first and second year might seem a little tedious because everyone's forced to take them, third year and fourth year labs are quite fun because they're in the field of interest that you're interested in, right? So that's just something for upper year lab courses.
Thank you. So we have a few questions on what is the dorm life like, the cafeteria, classrooms. Anyone here staying in residence? No? Okay.
I was staying in residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to comment on that then.
Yeah. So it is quite nice, to be honest. Usually you get to meet several people, because, well, you'll be living with several students. I got pretty close with my roommates, so it is pretty nice, because it is quite difficult to make friends during like uni, because you go to like one class, then you go to another, and you have several friends that in like different classes. So having like those people that you meet every day, it is quite nice because you get to really know them. They also they have several events during the year, so you get to meet like people from your dorms. Halloween season is also a great period of time, since you go to a party, then you meet some people from your dorms, and then like everyone is dressing up, so it is pretty nice.
Awesome. And the cafeteria, I know I've eaten at the cafeteria, and it's pretty awesome. A wide variety of food for the different diets. Maybe some of you want to comment on that as well. I've always been impressed when I've gone there. Yeah.
I ate there most days. They have quite a variety, so you won't get I don't know, you eat pizza every day, so that won't happen. So it is quite nice. The food is really good. You also get to meet several people there, since most tables are quite big. So you end up I don't know, talking with people. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. And in terms of classrooms, you can be all over campus, so it depends. You could be in small classrooms, you can be in big classrooms, you can be in that lecture style with the little tablet, you can be in some amazing classrooms where you're sitting at a table and you can move tables around for group work. So it can vary in terms of the classrooms. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one too. What are some advice you can give about balancing school and life during your first year?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a stab. I would probably just say, as mentioned previously, join clubs. Joining clubs is probably one of the best ways to meet more people. Meet more people, get friendships, and just get people to hang out with. That's definitely one way to work around it. And then there's also time management, which is obviously something that you learn slowly over time, and that won't come to you immediately, but it's kind of like a slower skill. And generally professors will understand that you guys are first years, you're coming into university, you don't know kind of everything super off the bat, and they'll be understanding with that, so they won't just kill you with workload off the bat.
I would also add that this is just my personal opinion, but I always recommend to first year students not to take more than 4 courses in the first semester. It's really not bad if you don't do your degree 5 courses a semester every semester until you're done on time. You have lots of chances to make up courses that you didn't take in fall and winter over those spring and summer courses. And by taking like 4 courses or even 3 courses, especially if they have big labs and stuff, it means that you are given enough time to adjust, especially in your first year, and to just sort of enjoy your university experience more, because you aren't quite so slammed with school. I think people sometimes think that university is sort of like the gateway to real life, where like once you finish university, then your life starts. But that's not true. University is part of your life. It's a few years of your life. So if you need to take courses a little bit more slowly to get that work-life balance, I absolutely recommend that.
I fully agree with you, Lauren. Just to let people know, you need a minimum of 3 courses to maintain full-time status. So if you're taking 4 or 5 and you realize partway through the semester it is not going well for you, a couple aren't going well for you, reach out to the Undergraduate Science Center, because you can drop a few courses. You have until the very last day of classes to withdraw. Now, the first couple of weeks, you can withdraw without any type of penalty, but if you withdraw after the add drop deadline, and from that point until the end of the semester, you will get a W on your transcript. But the nice thing about that, in a sense, it doesn't negatively impact you. It allows you time to focus on maybe those courses that you are staying on top of and you have capacity. It is so important that you find a balance, because we don't want you to be too focused on studying that you don't have a social life, but we also don't want the other part where you have too much of a social life and you don't have the space to study. So it is a balance, and we have some great clubs you can join and these students, like the students we have here today, can give you advice, give you tips along the way, what worked for them, what didn't work, and take what works for you. Try different things until you find that balance. So another question, where can they find books and other resources that are taught or suggested for a particular course? Any recommendations? I would say the library. Usually faculty will put books on reserve at the library. There's also more faculty are going towards open sources. So it's an open textbook where it's free. You just go, as long as you have access to the internet, you get access to that textbook. Anything else from the panel?
Yeah, just to bring up the bookstore is also a thing, and likewise, for example, if you want to buy a textbook or something, Amazon, it is also a really good source, especially if you want to get like a used textbook. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would just also mention that even if you do find out what textbooks are required for your courses, personally, I would not suggest purchasing them before classes begin, because a lot of the time they're less mandatory than people might say, or there is a way to get them open source. And textbooks are expensive. So don't spend your money on textbooks until your professor tells you you need it.
Yeah, and also too, if you absolutely need it, some students will share a textbook, especially if they work closely in study groups. We have a question about a laptop, but for a computer science degree, but maybe you might want to reach out to the computer science department or the undergraduate group in computer science, and they can give you some tips on that. When should I connect with the International Student Service Group? You can connect now with them online if you go to the website. So we had a great question about buying textbooks. That was answered. Another one about laptops. So there was a question about internship and credits. Currently, we don't give credit as extra to degree, but we are working on that. So hopefully by the time you do take an internship, you can have it as credits. And internships are not a requirement for any of our programs. So you can do the standard undergraduate degree, or you could add on that internship piece if you wanted to. I would strongly encourage it, because we have seen many students as they walk the stage, basically their employer is on the other side saying, come on over, the ones who they had an intern with. Also, it's a great way for it to build networking. So again, if you cannot continue on with that particular employer, which you did an internship with, they will sometimes recommend you to other people. So it's a great way to get a kickstart on your career. So lots of questions on laptops. If you're doing an internship in a different province, is that done online? Do you have to fly out there? It all depends in terms of the internships, because now where we've gone remote, you could be in Calgary working for someone in Saskatchewan. Some students do travel, move to the places to do an internship. It's pretty wide open. Okay, where can we get recommendations about course choosing? The USC. How do you sign up for intramural sports like volleyball? Have any of you had that?
That's
experience?
actually, I do play volleyball, so I did sign up for
perfect.
intramurals.
Oh, okay.
So earlier this semester, what will happen is there's going to be a sign up website through the Active Living page. So you form your team. You guys all go there, you sign up. So there are a limited amount of spots. So I'd highly recommend trying to see if you can form your team a little bit earlier, especially for sports like volleyball where you need a lot of members. Once you guys sign up with your team, you guys will be set to schedule for when you guys will be playing. And then we have multiple different divisions. So everyone for all different skill levels are open to come play.
Okay. Now, do you know, Eamon, if let's say you don't have a team, can you sign up as an individual to create a team?
I think there is an option to sign up as an individual as well.
Okay, awesome. Okay, another question we have is about getting involved in research. So maybe you can comment on that, because I'm sure there's plenty of students out there that would love to hear this as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll start. So in terms of research, the big thing is probably just going to be reaching out to professors, kind of seeing what they do and seeing what you're interested in. A lot of the times, I don't know how it is for other departments, but at least in physics, we'll have colloquiums where we'll typically have, for example, professors come in or professors local to our university presenting on their research. So those are really good opportunities to kind of see what's up and available, and in general, just kind of go talk to professors, see what they're doing and see what you're interested in. And yeah, that's probably the best way to go get involved in research.
So right now I'm working as a research assistant for UCalgary. It's a hydrologic analysis lab here. And I got involved because I had a couple of friends that were working in the same lab, and they're in a year or two ahead of me. And they absolutely loved working for the prof that we work for. And so I said, hey, I'm going to go reach out to that prof. We chatted. We became besties because we realized that I coach her daughter figure skating. So there was a connection. And so, yeah, just find a lab or a prof that you're interested in working for, and reach out, because most people are too scared to send that first email and reach out. And if you don't want to get involved and do a research assistant paid position, I highly recommend doing an undergraduate thesis. It's a pretty low stakes way to see if you like research and if you want to potentially continue on to grad school.
I would just add that I'm also doing research, but I didn't find out really about it until my last year. Research is something that you can do a lot earlier in your degree. I'm currently doing research alongside a second-year undergrad who just decided to get involved. So don't put it off if you're interested.
Perfect. Yes, we have things like what's called the Pure Awards, and you can apply for that it's summer research, and you can do that after your first year. So if you connect with a professor, and that kind of relates to some of the other questions about, is it easy to talk to your professor? As a professor, yes. We absolutely love when students come up to us after class. Before class, we're kind of getting ready for preparing things, so we want to make sure we start on time. But after class, I know I've had students, sometimes we had to vacate the room because another class was there. I would say, come follow me. Let's walk to my office, or let's chat. Where are you going? Because really, student success is a reflection of us. And we want students, despite all of those movies about professors failing students, and we want to see students succeed, because I know for myself, it's a reflection of me. I want to see success in my students. And I always tell my students, I don't want to see you in this class, but I want to see you in other classes. And again, because that's what I mean. I want them to succeed and go on and take upper level courses with me. And maybe some of you want to comment on that type of thing as well.
Yeah, go to office hours, because most people don't. Your profs are just sitting there and they enjoy chatting with you. So don't be scared. They're just people. And they want to get to know you. They want to have some friendly faces in lectures, especially in those huge first year classes. It's really nice to be able to connect with your profs.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you go talk to your profs, the profs then will go, ooh, this person comes to class all the time. Maybe there's others that are having difficulty with the subject matter. So they'll sometimes put up extra resources. They might talk about it more in class, that specific area. And yeah, I mean, remember, profs are human too. They have mental health issues. They have personal issues. They have all kinds of things. And, you know, you might be surprised. They might have already gone through something similar that you've gone to, or they can relate to, oh, that happened to me in my undergrad, but don't worry, it's going to be okay. Look where I am today. And, you know, that course didn't go well, or I failed that one, or I didn't go to class, all these type of things. I mean, they went through that experience, and I know it was long ago for many of you because you're younger, but, you know, they are there to help you. And and also too, they can help guide you to, if you reach out to them with, I know I have professors reach out to me all the time as an associate dean saying, hey, this person is struggling. Is there anything you can do to help this student? And so I will reach out to the student. I'll connect them with the various units on campus, whether that be financial aid, wellness, student success. So don't be afraid to reach out for help, no matter what, because you would be surprised how much help is really out there. And every student that has reached out for help has always come back and said, I wish I would have reached out sooner. So another one was, do you have any experience with tutoring? Is there some kind of faculty tutoring where students help students? So we do have PASS. That is through the Student Success Center. Have any of you been a part of PASS or taken part? But that is where, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so PASS is a program that runs for certain, I think they're all mostly first year classes, but it's sort of in addition to tutorials or regularly scheduled class sessions where other undergraduate students who have taken the course before are able to give guidance and tips and practice to other people taking the course. And it is definitely not available for all classes, but it has been useful to me in the classes it's available for.
Thank you. So there was another question about having back-to-back classes and having enough time to get to those classes. They're wondering if it would be cutting it too close. Maybe you want to comment on that.
Back-to-back classes it can be a little bit of a challenge if it's right across campus, like one end to the other, but that doesn't happen too often. And even though I have had that happen, it's always manageable to get back and forth across campus. You might have to go outside, even if it's cold out, to take a shortcut. But the 10 minutes or 15 minutes between classes should be enough to get you there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I don't know if any of you have a part-time job as well. That was a question that came up in terms of balance.
I'll keep going. Yes,
okay.
I do have a part-time job, and I've had one throughout university. And I know lots of other people who have as well. And I would just say that if your part-time job takes up however many hours of your week, that might have to be in exchange for a class that would normally take up that many hours in your week. But again, it's okay to take it at a slower pace depending what you can personally manage, and that really varies from person to person. So it's doable, but in some cases you might have to be in less than 5 courses.
Thank you. Another question, does the U of C offer international exchange programs? And yes, we do. We actually have agreements with a variety of universities where you can continue. So you take maybe your first and second year here, and then you go and take maybe your third year courses there. We have agreements for transferring of credit, so there's no gap in your degree. Have any of you taken part in an exchange?
I haven't, but I do have a couple of friends right now that are in New Zealand, and they're having an amazing time. Yeah. So they're taking some of their geography courses for their environmental science degree over there.
That's awesome. And I've also heard there's opportunities for funding and scholarships. I think for one student, going to Europe only costs them $500 more than if they were to stay here in Calgary. So there is opportunity for that. Okay, question. What if you arrive, this happened to me one time too. What happens if you arrive to a class and the seats are all full? How early before a class starts do you think is a good idea to arrive so you can get a seat?
I'll take this one. So generally, this isn't something that's going to happen, right? Rooms are scheduled in the rooms they are for a reason, right? So generally, this won't happen. If it does happen, usually this is because it's a course that has a really big wait list during like the first few classes or like the first few weeks of class when there are people on the wait list like trying to attend class like if they get in but usually once you're past kind of like those initial few weeks and the wait list drops like you should be fine in being able to find a seat in class.
Yeah, and usually it's the first, you'll find after the first couple of weeks there'll be enough seats in the class. All right. So one of the questions, if we have some of them are program related, some of the questions that are coming up. Here's one. Do we get semester breaks? Yes, you do. You get it one in the fall and one in the winter. So lots of computer science questions. Let's see. Let's go down. So is there a way for the future students to connect to each other prior to the school year? Facebook group, Instagram. Sometimes what students will do is they'll set up their own even Discord chats. It all depends. I would check out, if you want to find out more, I would connect with if you go to the, I think that was put in the chat earlier, but go to new student webpage for the U of C and they might have some things there as well. Oh, do any of you use the UPass? The question is, does the UPass cover the C train or just buses? For me, I thought it was everything. Didn't matter if
it covers everything.
Yeah. So there's some veterinary internships. I don't see why not. We're open to all kinds of internships, as we mentioned earlier. Questions. If you decide to take up to 3 or 4 courses per semester, how and when do you compensate for it? Well, as mentioned before, you can extend your degree if you want to. You don't have to complete it in 4 years. We offer a lot of first and second year courses in spring and summer. So if you want to lighten your load for the first year, or you have to drop a course, don't feel bad. There is opportunity for you to catch up in spring and summer. And also, I should add, spring and summer is very lovely on campus. There's rabbits, sometimes there's deer. I think there's been a coyote. There's lots of birds. The grounds, the flowers. It's just really, really pretty. Maybe some of you want to comment on being on campus in spring and summer.
Oh yeah, I completely second the spring summer. So like for context, both after my first year and after my second year, I took full course loads 2 and 2 during spring summer. I would very heavily recommend it. At least in context. So like burnout is a consideration for a lot of people doing school year round. I'm the kind of I can just like go and do that. And if you're the kind of person who's like good year round, I would very, very, very heavily recommend it. Like being on campus during spring, summer, there are significantly less people, and it's just much chiller atmosphere. And in general, it's very nice. I would very heavily recommend.
Yeah, we have some questions about music bands in Calgary. If there is, how many? I don't know what is this referring to, rock bands or indie bands, but in Calgary, there are a ton of different, I'm trying to think of the word here, different concert venues. I think Sled Island is coming up. We also have in the summertime on Prince Island, there's the Folk Festival. There's all kinds of things like that. If you want to find out what's happening here at U of C, you might want to take some music classes, and that's how sometimes musicians find each other. Sometimes they find each other in classes. They start talking about their hobbies, and then that's how they form these little bands. Let's see. Oh, any freestyle skiers or just skiers in general here? We do have clubs, ski clubs, and they go to the mountains quite often. Another question, where should I watch for all important announcements about what may be going on around the school? That's a good question for our ambassadors.
Read your emails. Lots of people don't. Sign up for clubs that you're interested in and get on their email lists, because a lot of them have a newsletter or they will email you about events. But yeah, most people skip over their their emails. So sign up for the information that you'd like to get, and then it'll come to you.
Yeah, definitely emails. Also, the Instagram for the Faculty of Sciences always keep students up to date with what is happening. We usually, as like the ambassadors team, we do events during the year. They're pretty nice, like several people come, there are prizes you can win, and we always like publish them in the Instagram.
Thank you. So I think we have time maybe for one more question. Oh, here's a fun kind of, oh no, go ahead, Lauren.
I saw one that was, would you recommend studying subjects that are outside the scope of your degree? And I thought that was just one that I would be happy to mention. Sure. Because yes, I would absolutely recommend that. A lot of programs require you to take courses that are in the arts or different disciplines, and it's a really great way to keep things interesting by diversifying your interests and trying out different areas. And if you're really interested in different fields, you can add a minor or even another major like I did.
I also second this as someone who started in physics and ended up picking up majors in both astrophysics and math. So yes.
Yes, no, it's always good. Again, we always recommend too to find that balance, even in your academics. So as a Faculty of Science student, you are required to take 2 courses in the Faculty of Arts. Those 2 courses could be anthropology, they could be psychology. And sometimes people end up doing a minor. We've had many people, as you see, we've had, Nicholas has done combined, we have a few people doing combined degrees because they just happen to take these other courses, fell in love with them. They might do a double major, a minor, double minor. It's up to you. The world's, it's, I guess your oyster, as they would say. So I think that wraps it up for today. So I want to take this opportunity to thank all of our panelists. And for the students that are joining us today, there is going to be opportunity to ask more questions as you go. Don't be afraid. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today and for giving all of us the opportunity to highlight the wonderful things that you will experience as part of the Faculty of Science community. Today, remember, is just the beginning of a new chapter in your lives. And we are so pleased that you have chosen the Faculty of Science as that next step in your life. So remember, sign up for our upcoming registration workshop. And during this workshop, you can ask program-specific questions, because I saw quite a few of them in the chat. And that is on May 15th. Our advisors will be available to help with all your program questions and assist with fall course registration. So I also saw quite a few questions about course registration, what courses should they pick. So I would also like to encourage everyone to sign up to our science mentorship program. Coming to your first year of university can be overwhelming at times. So we created the science mentorship program to help support your learning. And also, I believe we have some of our panelists were mentees, and now they're mentors. Again, it goes back to getting advice from someone who's already been through it. You know, you struggle with a midterm, it didn't go as well as you wanted. You know, they could say, hey, don't worry about it. I had the same thing happen to me. Just, you know, here, refocus, do this will, I found this helped me. And look where I am today. Lastly, we need all attendees to confirm their participation in today's virtual Faculty of Science UCalgary session. So if you could please scan the QR code that's showing up on the screen, or you can click the link in the chat, and Ashley just put that up to confirm your participation in the event. Then you'll qualify for your early course registration date, which is pretty cool. Again, thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And if we don't see you until the fall, I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in September.